Okay. Who here receives financial aid, has a driver's license, and has a social security number? Alright, would your lives change if you guys did not? Yeah, that would change your lives drastically. This would pretty much take all your benefits away, no driving or working legally, and no financial aid for school. There are a number of people out there that do not receive these benefits, yet they manage to get things done, particularly a group of mostly young adults, which are known as AB 540 students. AB 540 students are students that are undocumented, have attended at least 3 years of high school, are registered or currently enrolled in an accredited school of higher education, and will file or plans to file for a legal status. Every year, the United States Citizen and Immigration Services grants thousands of people residency, citizenship, or visas. Yet they have not created a way for AB 540 students to get any of these, obtain any of these. AB 540 students should be given a path towards citizenship because it will educate our nation, give equal opportunity, and gain individuals that will contribute to society. I have spent many hours throughout the last couple of years researching this matter due to the fact that I am an AB 540 student myself. I hope that by the end of this speech you guys get a better understanding of why AB 540 students should deserve a path towards citizenship. First, by giving a path towards citizenship, AB 540 students will receive education past the high school level. By having a social security, they will be able to receive financial aid, loans, and any other type of scholarship. An article published by the U.S. News, Marisol, an undocumented girl, quoted, "My friends were so excited about the loans they got and what schools they were going to. My school held a breakfast to honor the students who had received scholarships, but I couldn't go. Not because I had poor grades or because I couldn't get a scholarship, but because I did not have a social security number." According to estimates from the Pew Hispanic Center, Urban Institute, and M2U02498, about 65,000 undocumented students graduate from high school in the U.S. every year, 25,000 which are from California. Most of these students will work illegally right after high school since they cannot afford tuition for college. And these young individuals will not go back to their country because they were pretty much raised here. So why not help them financially so we could have a better, more educated nation? Second, AB 540 students should be given a path to citizenship because this is a land of immigrants and a land of opportunity. Everyone should be treated the same, especially when you obey by the laws and do all the right things. Lots of AB 540 students have pledged allegiance to the United States of America since they were in kindergarten. Some of these AB 540 students could be your best friend or some who you might even consider family. Due to the fact that you guys, they grew up with you all your life. Wouldn't you want your brothers and sisters to have the same opportunity to succeed as you did? Another example of equal opportunity is a friend of my family, which is named David. He started going to medical school. But couldn't afford it after 1 year, and so he dropped out. And one of his instructors noticed, and that instructor was he was also a doctor at a hospital, and he saw that David had so much potential that he submitted an application for working in the U.S. I guess for David to the CSIS, I think, United States Immigration Services, and he actually got a work permit to work, and now he's working at that hospital. So if AB 540 students, which David was, if they would have a chance like that, then AB 540 students would show how gifted and talented they are for an occupation here in the U.S. Now that you know how citizenship will educate and give an equal opportunity to this nation, you might also want to know how these students will contribute to society. Contributing to society is by far the biggest reason why B540 students should receive a path towards citizenship. Being a land of immigrants, our society should be better off by bringing diverse groups and cultures and ethnicities along with their first-hand experience and knowledge. For example, wouldn't it be better for a professor that was born in Mexico, raised here, fluent in both English and Spanish to teach Spanish? Foreign teachers can provide better information and be more understanding on certain subjects due to their country of origin. AB 540 students can also contribute financially to American society. It might be hard finding jobs for AB 540 students since they are not able to work legally. So a lot of them work low-paying jobs that lets businesses get away without paying taxes. Getting a path towards citizenship will allow these students to work legally and pay taxes through work. More importantly, some immigrant students are actually creating jobs. An article on the Univision website quoted, "Did you know that 25% of high-tech companies created in the U.S. from 1995 to 2005 were founded by at least one immigrant?" These are certain groups of immigrants that are creating jobs. One such group is immigrants with advanced degrees from the U.S. universities working in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, referred to as the study of STEMs. This data was collected from the U.S. Census Bureaus. If more immigrant students like the AB 540 students were given a path towards citizenship, they could potentially create jobs for people living in the U.S. You now know the top 3 reasons why AB 540 students should receive a path towards citizenship, which is being educated, equal opportunity, and gaining individuals that will contribute to society. Young talented students are being denied of some very important benefits only because they were born in a different country. These individuals work twice as hard as others just to keep up with their peers, having to work low-paying jobs just to pay their classes, books, and fees, not to mention their responsibilities at home. If only AB 540 students could be rewarded path towards citizenship, this would all change. American society would gain hardworking individuals that could potentially be world leaders.
Gina, what did you think?
I thought that you did pretty good. And you definitely seem to know the topic, like you obviously know what you're talking about. Is it something that's you experienced? You had good points. You really explained your argument really, really well. I think you kind of stopped a little bit in the middle of sentences, so I get a little bit confused when you stop in the middle. I think it's just a little nervousness, or you're trying to figure out where to go next. But I still could follow along definitely with what you were saying. You had a good connection with the audience. Again, a good topic that I think we can all not necessarily relate to, but we can kind of jump on to your side of the argument. So I think you did a great job.
All right, you know how enthusiastic I am about the audience surveys, but I thought it worked reasonably well in this context. Your topic is clear, you define what it is you're talking about, you've got a clear statement of where you're going. I do think that you need a stronger structural setup, and in the body of the speech you need to do clearer signposts of the ideas as you go through them. There's occasionally a good example to illustrate a point, but you need to back up those examples, I think, with some more statistical information. For instance, the information about the financial impact is mostly asserted. You need better data on what's going to happen, the contribution that this could make to the economy, the impact that it's going to have, how much financial cost there is to allowing this path to citizenship through through school, for instance, versus what the financial benefits are. At the end, for instance, you've got the one study that mentions the number of companies that were started where at least one person was an immigrant. Of course, that immigration status is not clarified in the data that you present. So you seem to be making the inference that they're these AB 540 people, but that's not said in that particular statistic. And in fact, they might be immigrants who are here under other visas, or people who have immigrated here under different circumstances, so don't fit the classification that you're talking about. So you got to be careful about, this is a kind of a violation of that deductive reasoning process where you're making the generalization, but then the group that you're applying it to doesn't really fit on that particular group. On your presentation issues, it sounds like you're reading when I'm listening to you. When I look up, it looks like you're reading. So you really need to get out of those habits. And of course, you've got the pages in your hand that block us from being able to see you a lot of the time also. I do like the examples that you come up with. I think that they work pretty well. There's one early on that talks about the girl who, all of her classmates were going to the senior activity and she was excluded from that. I think that's a good way of personalizing that. Your friend David, for instance, I'm a little interested in why it is that he qualified for a student visa or a work permit or whatever it was. Why did he fit into the category and other people don't fit into those categories? I think you need to have a little bit more explanation of that. All right. Thank you.